Alright, so it is August. We have now two new films that I have yet to review. First one is the brand new Haunted Mansion film, which I have seen a little over a week ago, and I still have yet to talk about. The second one is the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, Mutant Mayhem, one of my most anticipated movies of the year. What did I think about them? I'm going to let you know in today's video, but before I do that, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what is your opinions on Haunted Mansion, or your opinions on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. If you've seen both, which one's the better one in your opinion? With that said, we're going to get started talking about Haunted Mansion first. And getting into this, Haunted Mansion is a property that is really from my childhood. When I was a child, I used to watch the Haunted Mansion movie with Eddie Murphy all the time, especially on Halloween. I'd watch it like 6 times each year for Halloween, the spooky season, you know, because that was like a horror movie that I was allowed to watch when I was a kid. And so going into this one, I was initially excited for it because I liked the cast. Lakeith Stanfield, Danny DeVito, Owen Wilson. I could just go on and on about this list. This cast was absolutely stacked. And so, but when the first trailer dropped, I was like, I'm not 100% sure what I think of this. I was especially a little nervous walking into that theater to watch this movie because, like, we all know how Disney can screw things up, and I was pretty sure they were going to screw the pooch on this one because, I mean, that's me, and I was really nervous about this. I didn't think this would be a good movie at all when the movie started, and I gotta say, I walked away from this one pleasantly surprised that this was like a very charming, very funny, very fun Disney movie. Starting with the cast, obviously, we already mentioned some names. Lakeith Stanfield absolutely stand out in here. From the first scene he's in to the next scene, he has like this presence that he's always like this actor that looks like he doesn't care, feels like he doesn't care, but he always has like all this chemistry with fellow actors that is absolutely amazing, and he's got this here. Another big standout for me was Owen Wilson as the priest. He's got a lot of the funny lines. He's got his same energy. These are basically the actors being themselves in a more goofier way because he's got the same amount of energy that he always had and like the same amount of chemistry with everybody. I'm so excited for Loki season 2 because he's in it and he's going to have great chemistry with everybody. Owen Wilson is always a standout in whatever he does. Another big standout for me, Danny DeVito was pretty great in here. This cast is stacked, and every single one of them had fantastic chemistry with each other. Another thing here is the movie can genuinely be pretty funny, in my opinion. I found myself laughing quite a few times because of the amount of jokes that are here. And like I said, a lot of it's because of the chemistry that the actors had, but a lot of it's also because there's some pretty clever written jokes. Like the writers knew that they were working with these actors and knew what their capabilities were. And so combined with the writing and the performances, the comedy can work pretty well. And I found myself laughing quite a bit. This is probably the most I've laughed at a movie since Cocaine Bear. And y'all know that I think Cocaine Bear is like the funniest thing ever. So, yeah, this movie was funny. It's also some heartfelt. It's got some heartfelt moments. There is a bit rushing into some of the character arcs here to where, like, the little kid, like, he wants to be with his father, but his father's dead, and I thought we already knew that, but then apparently we thought he was alive, so I was a bit confused there. Kind of gets into that character arc and gets out of it, but there are some heartfelt moments here about, like, the dead and some emotions with the characters, and everybody feels like a tight-knit family, and I thought it was really, really enjoyable. And this is just an entertaining movie. Like I said, from the first scene, the cast really elevates this movie to where even if the story isn't like the best, which it's not necessarily the best, we'll talk about that in a minute, but even because the story wasn't necessarily the best, you gotta have actors that have great chemistry and have fun to watch. And that's what this is. That's what I'm hearing some people say, is that the movie's fun to watch. It's not necessarily good at one specific thing aside from the cast, but it's a very fun movie to watch because of this cast and the chemistry and the comedy that they can do. It's a fun, heartfelt family film that I can get behind. It totally did not disappoint. It was even just a little bit of a surprise because of how much I enjoyed it. There were some pretty big issues, though. One of them is, like, the third act is, like, very messy to where we were like, exploring ghosts and then learning new things, and then we get to the third act and it's like Owen Wilson's gonna train a bunch of ghosts to go stop the bad guy, and the bad guy's this really evil guy that all of a sudden just shows up, and I completely forgot the reason why he even showed up. And then, like, they team up with the ghosts who were bad guys. It doesn't really make sense in the third act. That's a big problem with the story, is that the story never really found one specific thing to latch itself onto. Every time that we moved on to a different area, it was like, yeah, but we're going to completely forget about this person and then move on to this person. And, like, it constantly created new lore to where we were, like, an hour and a half into the movie and we were still getting new ideas and new lore to where it gets a little old. Just a little bit. I never found myself bored while watching the movie. I never found myself thinking that the movie was a bad movie. But specifically when we get to the third act, it reveals a couple things that really should have been revealed earlier in the bad guy. And I didn't really care about the bad guys and all that. Like I said, very entertaining movie because of the cast, and it's just very watchable. Don't matter if the story is just like, the story was really I didn't care for it that much, but it was an easily watchable movie that I enjoyed because I love these actors and I love the chemistry that they had with each other, and it was funny and entertaining. And so Disney's Haunted Mansion, even though it's got a couple story issues, even like throughout the entire movie, I was like, I'm not sure what I think of this story. Works because it's entertaining, it has funny moments, and it's a fun movie. It's definitely a movie that the family could watch. I wouldn't even mind watching this again with my family. I had a blast with it. It's getting a B+. Now we move on to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I don't know why I said it like that, but we got a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. For me, I'm not like the expert on Ninja Turtles, honestly. I like them, but like the Ninja Turtles I grew up wasn't the 90s movies or the cartoons or whatever. I grew up with Michael Bay, 7-foot tall bodybuilders that can like roll like a freaking tank and take down a tank and are bulletproof and can kill foot soldiers with guns. That's the kind of movies I grew up with. Like, those are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies that I saw in the theaters. That's why I love those. And then, like, I also grew up on the 2012 cartoon that aired on Nickelodeon. You know, like, the one that's not Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So that's what I grew up on. I grew up on that. So if you guys think that I'm, like, this big Ninja Turtles expert, I haven't even seen Ninja Turtles 2 or 3. Haven't seen TMNT. And I'm still watching all those for a Ninja Turtles ranking. But I like the Ninja Turtles. I really do. I think that the Ninja Turtles are a fun property. I like the cartoon. I like the Michael Bay movies. And going into this one, I really like the trailers. I really like the idea that Seth Rogen and Jeff Green were bringing into this. Like I said, I really like the trailers. I thought it really captured the vibe here. And going into the movie, I watched it like 4 days after it released, so it was all this buzz on Twitter saying that it's like the greatest animated movie since Across the Spider-Verse. And you guys know what I think of Across the Spider-Verse. I think it's great. And so I could not have been more excited stepping into the theater knowing that one of my most anticipated movies might be the best ever. And I gotta say, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is another great animated movie. When people say that it's as good as Across the Spider-Verse, it's not as good, but it's pretty much exactly like it. What I mean by that is, let's compare the two, okay? There's gonna be spoilers here for both movies. Across the Spider-Verse starts off with Gwen Stacy fighting a villain, having this cold intro, and explaining where we're at in the universe. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has this cold intro, Baxter Stockman creates the bad guys, people attack, we see where we're at in this universe. Even comparing that to that, it's almost exactly like it. And I honestly had an absolute blast with both movies. Even like the pacing and both of them are similar, because if Across Spider-Verse works, why wouldn't you make this movie work? And they both really work. And even like the animation is absolutely gorgeous. Across Spider-Verse's animation is great. Don't talk about that movie. I love that movie. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem animation is absolutely gorgeous. It's got that extra pep to where it feels like it's hand-drawn, like everything just has this grimy nastiness to it that I think is absolutely really cool. It's like they drew it in with a marker. That's what it feels like. It feels like someone did it in a coloring book, and it just looks really cool and like very gorgeous to watch on the big screen. And I think that the animation is absolutely great. The cast here, absolutely phenomenal. Aside from the 4 Ninja Turtles that we had, that I think had fantastic chemistry, felt like teenagers. We'll talk about that in a minute. We also had Ice Cube, Jackie Chan, Paul Rudd is in a role here. I mean, we get cameos left and right. Mr. Beast is in this movie, for goodness sake. So, I mean, the animation and the voice cast is absolutely great. Ice Cube was a big standout for me. I really liked his villain in Superfly. I laughed at a lot of his lines. Paul Rudd, I thought was... Paul Rudd's Paul Rudd. I really like Paul Rudd. Like I said, the 4 Ninja Turtles really have themselves feel like a family and feel like they're teenagers, to where they have that great chemistry to where no other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have felt like this before. Closest I compare it to is the 90s, to where they had chemistry, they said the most random stuff, but this one they were actually teenagers that were also like, they're mutants and they're Ninja Turtles, and there's an extra layer that's not just, we're gonna save the city because we can. I don't remember in any other Ninja Turtle movie being like, yeah, we're the Ninja Turtles, we're gonna save the city because we want to go to school and we want people to like and respect us, besides like Out of the Shadows. But even so, they didn't just do it because of that. It was all like, even like the 90s, it was like, we're gonna stop the bad guys because the bad guys want to stop us, and they're stopping and they're destroying the city. That's what they're like. And here, it adds an extra layer that you feel the emotions for the Ninja Turtles, and with the cast combined and how great their chemistry is with each other, you feel that little extra length, and you could believe that these are Ninja Turtles that want to go to school, want to be accepted by society, but then also want to stop the bad guy. And even like, at the end, they realize that it's not just about being accepted, it's about doing the right thing. And that's what they do. And in the end, they get accepted, which is a great character arc for all of them. Another great voice talent, I thought, was Master Splinter and Jackie Chan. Everybody was saying he was great. He was absolutely phenomenal. He had the most funny lines. He had the great chemistry with the Turtles. The Turtles themselves, apparently, they had their voice cast in the same room. So it's like they were having real chemistry with each other, not just saying their lines and another person saying their lines in a completely different room. They were genuinely talking to each other. And that's what made this so special and made their chemistry so great, because it's like they're actually actors having chemistry with each other. It was absolutely great. And with Jackie Chan, I wouldn't be surprised if Jackie Chan was in that room, because Jackie Chan is also great in this movie. And like I said, everybody has a character arc here. We talked about the Turtles' character arc, wanting to go to school, and how that rounds out. But even like Splinter has a character arc here, to where at the end, I thought it felt a little rushed, where he's just like, y'all could all live in my home, not destroy the city. That's what it kind of felt like, and we'll talk about that in the negatives part. But then even like Master Splinter goes to stop the bad guy, and then like the humans help him up, and he's got the character arc to where he's willing to accept it. And like everybody's character arc is absolutely great. April O'Neil started out as this really unlikable character, only using the Turtles for her own dirty deeds. And then she even has a character arc, going on the news, finally saying stuff on the news, and then getting the Turtles and convincing humanity that the Turtles are the good guys. That's the character arcs that we are here. And by Seth Rogen, who is the Family Guy guy, and Sausage Party, a whole bunch of those movies, I was really happy with the direction that they took with this, and the character arcs really worked, and the emotions really worked as well. Combine that with the animation and the action pieces were really fun to look at. The one where they're in the car, and then the finale, and that's all really cool. This is overall a big accomplishment for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Ninja Turtles feel like they're turtles here. They have character arcs. They finally get what they want. It leaves us off at a place to where we're sitting back and we're like, that wrapped up the story, but it also felt you wanting more, to where like at the credit scene. Then another thing about this movie, before we talk about the credit scene, is that this whole movie feels like it's setting up a universe. And like the 90s Ninja Turtles, it's just, they fought Shredder, that's it. And the Michael Bay movies, it was like they fought and that was it. Nothing ever felt like this, to where throughout the entire movie you get even hints to the sequel. Another negative that I thought, they kind of threw in the TCRI plot at the end of the movie, and it really proved out that this is what's going to be the second movie. It even gives a tease and even sets up a universe, which is crazy, because before the movie even released, they already announced a TV series and a sequel. And so they're really leaning into doing the TV series and doing the sequel. and they set up the world absolutely brilliantly with that post-credit scene, even TCRI and Shredder, and giving Shredder a reason to go after the Turtles, minus the fact that Turtles are stopping him. I think all that is great, and it's setting up a new, unique Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles world that I can get behind. Granted that the last Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie that we had was Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, my least favorite adaptation of them. Getting here in another animated Ninja Turtles with a great world building, great direction by everybody. I cannot wait for more. That was absolutely great. There is a couple things that kept this movie from being absolutely perfect, and we gotta talk about them real quick. First off, the character arcs in the end kind of felt wonky. Like, there was a part where at the end of the movie, they finish getting milk, they go to stop the city, they go to stop the bad guys from destroying the city, whatever, and Master Splinter gets there, and like, all of a sudden he's like, yeah, you guys can come live with us. I was like, this is definitely a dream, isn't it? That the bad guy wins and the good guys lose. And then, nope, it was the real thing. Master Splinter really had that fast of a change of heart, and I felt like it was so rushed and weird, and it really did not work for me in that sense at all. Fortunately, they fixed Splinter's character. They fixed a couple people's character arcs from being so rushed to where, I mean, the bad guys definitely had their change of heart way too quick. But they fixed Splinter's character arc from being way too rushed with the humans and that. But, like, there were a couple rushed character arcs in the end and stuff that could have been definitely toned down just a little bit. But besides that, and besides the fact that a couple things felt really rushed in the end, I genuinely think that this movie does a lot of things well. Well, the TCRI plot kind of got thrown in there in the middle. Like, all of a sudden they were captured and they're like, we're going to milk them for our mutant machines. At that point, I was really like, huh. This movie's really taken a couple of detours here that didn't necessarily really work for me. But overall, this is a heartfelt Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie with great voice casting, great action, great animation, so many great things about this movie that proves it's another outstanding standout in animation for this year. It's another movie in my top 10. It definitely did not disappoint. There's just a couple issues in there. Overall, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is going to get an A-. Thanks for clicking on this video. My next video is going to be a ranking of the July movies. I'm just a little behind, just a little bit. So, I mean, we'll get there. Breaking Bad review, the Meg 2 is coming out. There's a lot of videos coming up. Only Murders in the Building Season 3 coming out. Make sure to stay tuned for my shorts, just like you did for my Secret Invasion. And then also, same thing as Ahsoka, I'm going to do a weekly short series where I talk about each of those episodes. So excited for those. With that said, thank you guys for clicking on this video and subscribe. Join the Nerd Army. Peace out.